that kind of thing before in Florida in 1995. A man who has now been missing for 10 years is still wanted by police in Pearl, and they say if you know anything about where 44-year-old Patrick McCrory might be, to give them a call. He had locked himself in a house in a confrontation with cops and ran out the back door. All they found were his clothes covered in blood. He's white, 180, 5'10", and has yin yang and wild child tattoos on his left arm. More news in 1 hour on 1039 WIAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Welcome to the Chip Matthews Show, where politics meets the South. So grab your sweet tea, find a comfortable spot to sit back, and let's embark on this journey together. Chip away, chip away,
And good Thursday morning here on WYAB. I am, of course, Chip Matthews, your conspiracy theorist, according to some. Yes. It's going to be a pretty day out there today. And just like yesterday, I will spend entirely too many hours inside a courtroom, which I went to just observe and then found out that they had been trying to serve myself and Mr. Peoples for the Canton thing to the Canton trials to know what's going on. And it's Camellia Walker versus Tim Scott. The city came up and said something about race judicata and blah, blah, blah. This matter had been settled. Well, you have different defendants. I think that race judicata doesn't exist because of that. You know, it may be some of the same facts, but the real thing is, I got there at, I guess that started at 9 o'clock, I guess it was 9. I can't remember what time we started yesterday, but we got through about 6:30 last night, and we're going back at 8:30 this morning. And, there's plenty of room if y'all want to come sit in and watch how the sausage is made and this, that, and the other. But what has occurred so far has been a yawner. It is a yawner. They're dancing around. You have two lawyers who have been protectors of the city, I guess you could say, during the civil rights era, this, that, and the other. And you look at it and you just go, what's going on here? The only person that they dug down deep on was Mayor Truly, and he swore him down. It was all his responsibility, but absolutely not. That's what he testified to. It's all my fault, but not. I mean, because, well, he didn't say fault. He said, yes, it's my responsibility, but not. Because Mayor Truly, I've got to get him on the show to sit down, because I would love to cut on the microphone and ask him one question and see if I never say another word, will he go for 4 hours by himself answering one question? Because, geez, a simple yes or no will do. But he is entertaining. If you want to come back to court, I think they've reserved the right to recall him. Then, of course, on the stand right now is the lovely and talented Anita Ray, the county clerk. But the reality here is what the trial is about. It's not really about Tim Scott Taylor, who's running for office, and it's not about Camellia Walker, who is running for office for mayor. Now, Tim won by, I think it's 43, 44 votes, something like that. But it's not many votes, you know. And the argument was anybody disenfranchised from voting? Now, this is something that in any election, and it's from the very first election I was ever involved in, the very first time I was trained to, in a training poll to where I would know how to work at a poll, because I've worked at the polls many times in many elections. But they always talked about disenfranchising voters. Now that is the question at hand. And so far, the burden of proof is on Ms. Blackman, Barbara Blackman. She is representing Camellia Walker. And they have not, everybody that's gone on the stand except for one person got to vote. Now the question is, are there others that did not get to vote? Now they've said it, but nobody brought any proof. Nobody's got names. And then the unique situation is, like, there was a person that testified yesterday late that was testifying to the fact that they were a poll watcher from Hinds County that was watching the polls for Camellia Walker. And everybody was asking her, why didn't she ask names? Well, you know, as a poll watcher, if you're back there behind the tables, you're not supposed to speak to people in the room. So the rules on how polling places work, you know, a lot of people just don't know all the rules. And I mean, and I'm a stickler for the rules. I just, you know, the procedures and what goes on. And because that is something that if they could just follow the book, follow the rules, the laws are written. They were written not by Michael Watson. They weren't written by Secretary of State or the city or anybody. They were written by the lawmakers. The lawmakers are responsible for the rules of how an election is run. That's why the loopholes exist. That's why all this other stuff happens. But the reality here is, did people get a chance to vote that wanted to vote in the election? And the window was so short for you to fix all this, because right now the election is going on in the general election. I am currently on the ballot running against Tim Taylor and Walter Peoples in the election contest that is in court. And it's like they asked me if I wanted to intervene. I said, because I hadn't been served yet, because the moat around my house, I'm betting that was just a problem to try to get to the house. It's a problem for me to get to the house. You know, I feel like George Washington crossing the Potomac to try to get to the house. But the truth of the matter is, what is the remedy to this? I mean, is it an issue if the Democratic, and let's look at this from a 1,000-mile view. Is it a Democratic-Republican problem where the Republican candidate and the independent signed up properly and is on the general ballot? And if you have a ruling in the Democratic primary where they can't get their candidate ready for battle, do the Republican and the independent suffer from a new election? Which, of course, if you throw it all out and say we got to have a new election, then the alderman races that weren't decided before would be back on the ballot because of the disenfranchisement. And you say that, Chip, well, that would only be one ward, but no, you had people who voted at Canton Community Center and then voted at Mount Levi Church. Wow. Some of you people are going, Canton politics on the radio. This is no, y'all. It's something completely different. And then, of course, you know, we have all the violence and stuff that's going on in Canton, and we've got to get a grip on everything. This election is really about the two lawyers and who's going to represent the city when all the money comes to town from the Amazon. That's what it's really about. I mean, the subtext is people getting disenfranchised, but the battle is over the money. It's always about the money. And there's a lot of money coming to town, and a lot of lawyers would love to represent that type of money coming in, because they're going to get a piece of it. They get a good chunk out of it. But that is what the case is about. Although that's not the way it's framed up, I guess you could say. And that would be my conspiracy theory. Radio host or podcaster Oath of Cain and I have been sitting up there, and of course he says that all this stuff that I always say is going to happen has not happened yet. Well, they're dancing around that, because the question is, do you want a new election or do you not want a new election? What do you want? I mean, that's the problem. Is I don't see what they want out of this. It's like they all came to trial saying we got to come to trial to try to get that money for the lawyers in the future. But I don't know how to present my case, and they're just hoping they trip over something that helps them win their case. I mean, if you you don't put a witness on the stand if you know what they're going to say. If they're going to get on the stand and say, hey, yeah, I went to vote. I wasn't on the books, but I got to vote anyway. No harm, no foul, because that's it. Disenfranchisement has to do with whether or not you are allowed to vote. Now, a civil rights issue would be, and nobody's brought that up, would be you had to vote, but you had to jump through hoops to do it. I could see that being twisted some kind of way to make it, I didn't have to vote like everybody else had to vote. I didn't get the opportunity to vote the way they voted. That some people just walked in, said their name, went and voted. And then people keep asking about addresses. Do you know when you're in a voting place and you're checking IDs, the person at the table cannot ask you your address. They're supposed to look at your picture, your name, and you go vote. Then when you're told to vote affidavit and you vote in the wrong precinct, your vote is going to get thrown out because you didn't vote where you live, because that affects the alderman races. It's a mess once again, and that kind of testimony is not taking place right now. They're dancing around trying to find. It's like watching two prize fighters trying to find out, where can I throw a punch. Now, when they had a chance at Truly, they wore him out. They wore him out. It's been more about, is Truly on trial for his being on the thing, because but being mayor for so long. Because if you really look at it from one perspective, Mayor Truly, who accepted no responsibility in the fact that the poll books were not updated and that things had not happened, although he had been made aware of it. But he testified that, yes, I've talked to others, but he didn't talk to the Secretary of State's office. He didn't talk to the clerk's office. He didn't talk to anybody to try to remedy the problem. Didn't bring it up in a board meeting. Didn't put it on the agenda. So you sit there and look at it and go, are we insane? And so Truly's legacy is kind of on trial, which, of course, we've also got to look at Truly as he has been the voice of a lot of people in Canton for a long time. And with the murders that have been going on in town, he has not been forthcoming. It's like, I'm out of here. I've checked out. I'm going to go write some pot prescriptions. That may not be fair, but that's what he does. He's got a big old pot sign on the back of his car. And I know, yeah, it's legal. Marijuana, legal medical marijuana is around, and he's allegedly a doctor. So, but that's that. We're going to take a break and we'll be back. And I'll try to inform y'all a little bit more about some things. And what about that? What about my president, Mr. Trump, President Trump? He got his big, beautiful bill passed before out of the House. That's great news. Now the next question is, and the Senate has already been working on some things, like, for instance, the issue inside the big, beautiful bill about no tax on tips. That was in there, and they've already voted in the Senate to approve that part of it. So it'll all the mixture will go into the pot, and they'll argue some, the Senate, this, that, and the other, and then we'll get that out of the way. And I swear, I believe when the big, beautiful bill gets passed and the tax cuts go into place, all hell is going to break loose in Washington. And that's going to be a trip. Anyway, we'll be back. We'll talk a little bit more. If you got something on your mind you want to talk about, 601-879-0002. That's the hotline here on the Chip Matthews Show. Remember, tonight I'll be out at Acme Pizza. Afterwards, there were people who came by yesterday to talk to me about the trial, and they thought I'd be there much earlier. I did too. But anyway, y'all come on out and see us. Remember, this weekend, this weekend we have, for Memorial Day weekend, we have Jamie Eisenhood, which we have every Friday night, and he's in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame and plays all the hits that are the hits. Saturday night, I believe this Saturday night, it's who is it? It's Jamie Mitchell or either Skip McDonald. It's one or the other. I got to go check. I'll check on that and I'll get back with y'all. We'll get ready for the weekend because it's a big Memorial Day weekend. You got to drive it safe, this, that, and the other. We'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
We would like to invite you to visit our retirement community, which is not only beautiful, but affordable as well. I'm Rhonda Brown, director at the Waterford on Highland Colony in Ridgeland. Our team members are passionate about making our residents' life easier and more enjoyable. We have fun-filled educational and entertaining activities, plus daily exercise that will help with your stamina and balance. Call us at the Waterford on Highland Colony in Ridgeland, 601-856-6131.
Pops Auto Sales on Highway 49 in Florence is where you come to buy quality cars, trucks, and SUVs. Priced to fit your budget. At Pops Auto, we specialize in trucks. From four-wheel drives to diesels, our satisfied repeat buyers know Pops has one of the largest truck inventories for any independent dealer, period. Browse Pops inventory at popsautosalesllc.com and get pre-approved for a zero down payment with approved credit with warranties and service contracts available. Pops Auto Sales, your home for trucks. Highway 49 South in Florence.
Hey, everybody, it's John at Two Gun Tactical. We're having Kim Wade Wednesdays at both locations. So you come in and mention Kim Wade on a Wednesday, you get half-price range fees. Hey, if you're a member, we're going to give you an extra free target just for mentioning Kim Wade Show. Come on in and work on your shooting and exercise that 2A right that if we don't fight for it, we won't have it much longer. It's twoguntactical.com. That's the number 2guntactical.com.
The weather is heating up, and the deals are even hotter at Mazda of Jackson. Right now at Mazda of Jackson, you can drive home your dream Mazda with low financing rates available. 2.9% for 72 months on most models, or finance 36 months and pay just 0.9%. That's right, 0.9%. Experience Mazda's exhilarating performance, top-notch safety, and reliability. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Feeding the family? Got a hungry crew? Head to Huey Magoo's for the meal that never misses. Grab a 20 or 30-piece family meal loaded with our delicious chicken tenders. Choose hand-breaded, grilled, or a mix to please everyone at the table. Served with fries, Texas toast, and all your favorite sauces. Hot, fast, and done right. It's the easiest win of the week. And don't forget dessert. Pick up a big creamy banana pudding that tastes just like Grandma used to make. Sweet, simple, and perfect to share. Huey Magoo's, the filet mignon of chicken.
We all make plans for the future, like car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter Agent Jamie Creel for a free personal protection review.
Men, let's talk about low testosterone. Do you suffer from any of these symptoms? Low sex drive, ED. Are you always tired, depressed? You have loss of muscle mass? You're obese? Maybe you have loss of focus and drive? Then you, my friends, may suffer from low testosterone. Let my buddies over at Men's Health in Mississippi, located right there in Madison, check your numbers today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. Check them out online at menshealthms.com. That's menshealthms.com. Men's Health Mississippi.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
And I am Chip Matthews, the conspiracy theorist. Yes, in Canton elections. Now, y'all, we're trying to report the facts and report them simply and not get involved. I mean, you got to kind of get involved and decide who you think's doing what. I need a shirt like that one you're wearing. Surely I can bring you one. I can bring you one. Probably bring you one that says something different, but it still says Chip for mayor. Yeah. And y'all know, I am running for mayor, Canton, full disclosure. And honestly, yes, I came out and I supported Tim Taylor as he was running for vote. And, Tim always comes to me, you endorse me. Well, I was endorsing you in the Democratic primary because, Tim, if I don't win, it needs to be you. That's the way I see it. Mr. Peoples is a good guy. I don't know much about him. I mean, that's just the facts. I mean, he didn't grow up here and you just can't know everybody. And he came to Canton and went to work, and that's that. And a good guy. Just don't know enough about him. Good morning, Dawn McKenzie, Joe Lynn, Jimmy Rogers, Angry Lewis. Yes, the leprechaun is checking in, and also Lloyd Travis. Good morning, and Debbie Bergansky. The election contest, when you look at some of the stuff that they're going to get into in this thing, it concerns me that one of the bags. Now, this doesn't have anything really to do with the election and everything to do with the elections. And this is an all election contest that occur in the state of Mississippi. There seems to be a disconnect in the rules of how you handle things. Because to me, when you go to do a ballot box, it should be simple. A, B, C. Is the box sealed? Is the stuff in the information? Is the chain of custody been kept? This, that, and the other. Are the books filled out? Many elections, none of that has happened. And so far in this thing, they have not looked in the books. They've looked in the books at some seal numbers, but they haven't looked at the process. If the seal is taken off after the election to count them again, they didn't record that seal coming off, and they didn't record the new seal coming on. And you say, well, it would understandably be the seal that was on there for the election, but you don't know that. You don't know that. It should, all parties should have been there, and the same seal came off. And then when you left, the new seal number was recorded in the seal book. And that's not the way some people look at it. And then in one bag, Ward 1 ballot box, contained ballots from the Jennifer Branning Jim Kitchens election. Is evidence of a grave failure of maintaining election integrity between elections. Now, and let everybody know that the county has the equipment, and then they have to maintain for 2 election cycles the security of the ballots that were used in an election. So these ballots here should have been secured by the county with all the election material from the November 24th election. And here they are popping up with some stuff in a bag in Canton. I mean, and I look at that and you go through the things, and all these to some people, these are minor details, but the chain of custody of the voting material. It's like when I went to the Hinds County voting review, when we were looking at some ballots down there in some cases, you walked in, You walked in and you didn't have all the material. They're supposed to, the way it happens for me when I go to Madison County, you go into a room. The clerk leaves and go gets the box and the material requested. So if I go Ward 1, I want the bags, I want the blue bag, I want the red bag, I want the box. They bring it into the room. We record, we first check to see if all the seals are there. Then when we go to break those seals, we record the number of what we're taking off, and then we record the new number when we put it back. When we take it off, when we put it back. So there is a chain of custody of what has taken place. And that is something that many people don't get it figured out. So I don't know. Disenfranchising. That's what it's about. Disenfranchised voters. But it's mostly about what lawyers are going to represent the city when the money gets to town. That's what it's really about. That's what it's really about. It's not about who won the election. I mean, you've heard very little testimony that Taylor was cheated or Camilla Walker was cheated. Their names have barely come up. But the reality is the poll books and everybody's in the SIM system so far, because if you voted in the presidential election or in the other election, you would have registered at the county and or you could have gone on site to the Mississippi State website, Secretary of State site, and signed up, and you could be a part of the voting process because there are rules and when you can sign up, when you can't sign up, this, that, and the other, but you sign up and register to vote, and everybody should do that. Now, the only difference here is when they created the poll books for the election, some people were left out of that book. And yes, they had to jump through a few more hoops, but they were allowed to vote. And the question is then whether their vote was counted. In most cases, I've understood that most votes were counted. Nobody's proved that somebody didn't get counted that voted. They don't have any names of the people who came in and left because they couldn't vote on the machines. The key is on the machine. On the machine, if you can walk into a precinct and vote on the machine, they can't take that vote away. And a lot of people know that. And that's where a lot of fraud and abuse takes place when you look at all the precincts, and there's usually all the same people in Canton that run the precincts. We should be running one precinct in Canton. We only got 1,200 people voting. We could run one precinct in Canton, have 7 people up there, save us $10,000 at least in the election, maybe more, and have one precinct where you have one set of people. You have everybody could be there. Both candidates, all the candidates could be there watching, and life would be good. Because that's what they did in Rankin County. I don't say that Rankin County does everything right, but in the elections that just took place, municipal elections, they voted in one precinct in Brandon, one precinct in Pearl, one precinct in Flowood, and it worked. It worked. So I'm an advocate for the one precinct. You put it in the old courthouse on the square. Everybody knows where it is. Say it's election day, show up. And get them in and get them out. But that's that. I mean, so really, the trial, which starts again at 8:30 this morning, right there at the Madison County Courthouse on West North Street, that sits on a piece of property that my uncle used to own that I used to have to mow the grass. That's all I can remember. When I sit in there, I go, oh, I used to hate a hot day like this, and I had to mow this grass because it was a big yard. But the reality is, and I grew up in that little town, and I enjoyed that little town, and controversy has been there for years in elections. And I feel like with the Truly administration, and if they work everything out here, you're probably going to solve a lot of problems in a lot of elections because there'll be testimony given as to seals on boxes and seals are not, and this, that, and the other. There'll be enough information put out there to where the training from the Secretary of State's office level can improve so that all the little issues are gone. Because I don't believe we need the early voting. Because I think the absentee voting is perfect. It is early voting, but there's a process. And guess what? You bring your ID to vote when you vote absentee. They don't just hand you a ballot. You have to bring your ID to vote absentee. On election day, you don't have to bring your ballot, your ID. You can come back 5 days later and show your ID. That is a flaw in the law, and they don't seem to want to fix it. Okay, we'll be back. We're going to talk about some other stuff unless somebody calls and wants to talk about this. But we'll be back here with a little bit more of absolutely nothing on the Chip Matthews Show right here on WYAB. Remember, coming up at 7 o'clock, everybody's favorite host, Clay Edwards. He's award-winning, and he's only right here on WYAB.
WYAB.
At Johnny's Pizza House, we consider our customers like family, so we spend the extra time needed to put more love into making our pizza. From our dough made fresh daily to fresh, never frozen ingredients, Johnny's Pizza House takes pride in knowing that what we serve our customers isn't just pizza. It's a slice of home in every single bite. Great traditions start with great food and great people. Start your tradition today with Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
I'm David Frederick, owner of Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. I'm here to tell you that it's the best time to buy a new X-Barn zero-turn mower. With unmatched quality of cut, ease of operation, and low maintenance, it's no wonder why X-Mark is the #1 choice of landscape professionals. With sizes starting at 42 inches and 0% financing available, we have an X-Mark zero-turn for all size lawns. Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. Come by my store and see why Frederick's has been leading the way and serving you for 30 years since 1993.
CBS News special report, a big victory by a tiny margin for President Trump and his sweeping domestic spending plan.
On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 214, with one answering present. The bill is passed.
House Speaker Mike Johnson announcing the outcome of a vote about a half an hour ago following an all-night debate that eventually won over GOP hardliners, worried about hundreds of billions in new spending and its effect on the federal deficit. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns.
It cuts billions in federal spending to Medicaid, food stamps, and energy subsidies. And this is the key. It extends, makes permanent Trump's tax cuts.
Alabama Democrat Terry Sewell, a no vote.
It's outrageous. It's simply unacceptable. This is a sad day in Congress.
The measure also delivers on the president's promises of no taxes on tips and overtime wages. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Are you craving a home-cooked meal without the hassle? Come over to McBee's Bar and Grill in Ridgeland for their Blue Plate lunch specials. Served up every weekday, at McBee's it's a different entree every day. Chicken spaghetti on Mondays, beef tip Tuesday, pork chop Wednesday, spaghetti Thursday, and catfish Fridays. And McBee's Blue Plate lunch comes with 2 classic southern sides and cornbread or a roll. McBee's specials are served every weekday from 11 to 2. McBee's, buzzing the res since 1982. Did you know that the average 6-room house collects 40 pounds of dust each year? Local business Pure Air Consultants duct cleaning service can rid your home of the dust, dirt, and debris that may be caught in your air ducts. They can eliminate the mold, fungi, and microbes that might be growing inside your ductwork and polluting the air you breathe in your home. Mention WYAB and receive a free UV light with system replacement. Visit online at mypureairconsultants.com. mypureairconsultants.com.
Hey, this is John with MES. That's Mississippi Energy Services. We sell, service, and install all makes and models of home and business generators. One thing that we do different than a lot of other companies is we do all the work ourselves. We don't use subcontractors. We go from the original estimate, the design, to the final product. That way we can control the quality of the job from the beginning to the end. We are online at msenergy.us.
Hi there, it's Lori from the mailroom. Of course you know we offer shipping with UPS, FedEx, DHL, and the Postal Service. But did you know about all the other services we offer? If you need to have signs made or business cards, brochures or postcards, we can do that. If you need copies, laminating, or binding, we can do that too. Do you need a notary, need to send a fax, or get a passport photo? Of course we can do that. Come check us out. We are south of Germantown High School at 272 Calhoun Station Parkway, Suite C, mailroomgluckstadt.com.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
Yes, it is the Chip Matthews program here on WYAB. Yes, better known as the Chip Matthews Show. I am, of course, Chip Matthews, and you are exactly who you are. You're a voter in Mississippi, and if you look around and you see 10 people, 8 of you lie about voting, the other 2 actually vote. That's a fact, y'all. That's a fact. I mean, when you think about the election in Jackson coming up, 2024, I say 20,000 people will show up to vote out of 185,000. Somebody may go as high as 24. But I mean, the voting just continues because people just get burnt out on elections. They go, I had to go 4 times. You know, never mind all the people that died for my right to vote, this, that, and the other. I had to go vote 4 times this week, this month, this election cycle. Good morning, Sam Brady. You need to come play out at the Acme Pizza. That's what you need to do, Sam Brady. Do you know how to play? I know you do. I know you do. Well, good morning, everybody. We're here on the big show. The big, beautiful bill is passed by Trump, and or rather by the legislature. Let's get that right. It was passed by the legislature, the House. Good morning, Russell McGuffey. He's cutting trees this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. And y'all, this bad weather that's going to be coming through again is going to have everybody cutting trees. So make sure you have your tree cutter in the phone book. A lot of trees are already down in North Mississippi, and they're going to keep going. And then, of course, if it rains, everybody's going to flood. Ground saturated like all get out. Guy told me he mowed my yard yesterday, and I'm going, with what, a boat? With a boat? But anyway, special session in Mississippi, all this other stuff going on. Good morning, Roderick Cheeks and Russell McGuffey. All these people that are talking about the special session and what they're going to do in the special session, and you see the commercials online and on the TV saying $22 million Mississippi is missing out on sports betting. And then you see a guy come on there who goes, we're either going to pass this sports betting bill or we're going to have to start enforcing the law. I want to slap the guy. I want to say, what are you doing? What are you doing saying something like that? Enforce the law. We're not going to enforce the law. People ride around smoking pot all the time. And I got a card. Just because you got a card don't mean you can drive and smoke pot. That's just the facts. Oh, Lloyd Travis, you have more trees I need to cut. Hey, we're not going to be doing that. You know, my viewers feed, I get 10% if you are doing business on my line. No, just kidding. But anyway, the sports betting bill, I mean, when they call the special session, we all know the special session is for them to do the work they did not do earlier this year. And that was a budget. You got to have a budget. And they're so worried about how much money Trump was going to cut or not cut from Washington. And on the Medicaid cut, that was mostly for the expanded Medicaid is where some of those cuts are coming with a work requirement. So, and since we don't buy into that system, that doesn't affect us in Mississippi. That money, unless you voted it in, doesn't affect us in Mississippi. So there's no reason why you didn't go ahead and get your bill together. You can't, you know how much money you got. You know how much money you got in the bank. You know how much money you're going to need. And then you're going to have a special session. And the special session, you only can deal with one subject. So all these lobbyists And I'm sure they're all going on Memorial Day weekend trips this weekend. Since we're not calling the special session before the weekend, I would love to see him say, let's have it Saturday. Let's have it Monday. That would just inconvenience those lawmakers who didn't do their job on time. And I think that would be great, because really it needs to get in place soon, or MDOT and all these people that fund different projects are going to have to start shutting down. And because to make them safe, because if you have to stop work because you hadn't passed the budget to pay the people, never mind you got the money in the bank to pay them, but you got it. The law says you got to have a budget. So you got to have a budget by July 1st. And we don't have one. So that means about 2 weeks before, right after Labor Day or Memorial Day, we're going to be sitting here going, okay, what do we do? And you've got all these people having to instead of working on the projects that they're working on, the people in the government, they're worried more about how we're going to have to, well, in 2 weeks, we'll have to shut this down. If there's something else they want to do on a project, we don't want to start digging that ditch, because halfway through digging that ditch or taking out that bridge, we're going to get shut down. And that's just going to inconvenience the voter. And look, lawmakers don't mind inconveniencing the voters. They don't mind it at all. And so you got the sports betting bill, and then you got the ballot initiative that needs to hit it. Now, of course, I saw the head of the ballot initiative lobbyist firm. I guess they're lobbyists. But anyway, he was sitting on the row behind me. And the last time I saw him, he was trying to throw me in jail for trying to talk to the election commission. Said, we're not going to come in here and say these things. We're not going to come in here and say there were problems and things that happened in an election. We got a full agenda. And this is the lawyer, although the election commission people were wanting to hear what I had to say, and they were asking questions. Oh, we're not going to have that because we got a full agenda. And the gavel died of that meeting 17 minutes later, by the way. Full agenda, 17 minutes. Easy money for a lawyer, 30, in and out. Good morning, Jenny Halford. But anyway, the governor can call for all these different things. And it just seems like they're setting up to say it's a special session. They're going to take this sports betting bill and they're going to slide it in because they said we needed more money to fund PERS, or we needed money to fund the roads, or this, that, and the other. There's a lot of money on the table on that sin tax. Lots of money on the table. Then the other sin tax that they're going to wait forever to do, but they're going to do it because they can't stay within the budget, and they don't know how to raise taxes other than sin taxes. That's all they know how to do. Never mind how much money the state's going to bring in when the billions with a B, hit Madison County. And off that money, I believe that, and look, I believe Canton's going to grow. I believe Gluckstadt's going to grow. Ridgeland's going to grow. Madison's almost getting locked into where they can grow some. They just got to annex some more stuff. And I don't know if they're going to get landlocked into be an odd man out. And then West Jackson and North Jackson are going to grow. I think West Jackson all the way out 220, coming up 49 and coming back toward Flora. I think all that's going to explode because it's easy to build roads to get these people to work through there. If people are planning. We do a lot of planning to try, politicians in the county and in the city of Canton and places do a lot of things to not change the democratic makeup of these voting districts because, not democratic makeup, but the residential makeup of these voting districts because they want to keep the balance of power in their favor. They want to keep the balance of power in their favor. They're so scared in Canton over the years to take, if you look at that annexation map where they go down this thin road and then jump down there and take the area by Gluckstadt, you just look at that and go, what the hell is that all about? And why did we go get that? We're scared that these people are going to build houses here and those houses might become white. But a house don't know if it's white or black. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Now, people in Canton are living everywhere now. There's whites here, there's black here, there's Hispanics here. We've become a culturally diverse city, and we all get along. The only people that don't get along are the politicians. The politicians constantly act like they're doing what's right for you, and they're just not doing it. That's correct. You know, we got too much crime in Canton. We got people dying left and right. Lawrence Blackman's out there, and he's not running. I mean, he represents us in the House for that area, but he is not running around in the middle of the politics of Canton. Now, Barbara Blackman and Ed made an appearance in court but didn't speak. I was hoping he'd come in and get that thing moving along yesterday, because right now nobody has done anything. We're walking around in the ring looking at each other. And of course, the burden of proof is on Barbara Blackman and her co-counsel and on proving that people were disenfranchised. And that has not occurred yet. They can't even prove any of the improprieties. Now, I think the county has an issue with these ballots that were in a box that supposed to be secured election material in a November 24th election, the November of 24 election, let's put it that way. I think that's an issue for the county, because all election material should be secure. And in that courtroom, they pulled them out of a bag. And I'm like, well, that's not supposed to happen. And yes, it's a minor infraction, y'all. And it's spoiled ballots, and it doesn't have anything to really do with anything, except you start showing the problems of chain of command. And then you have to start questioning the whole process when you can't prove chain of command. We'll take our last break, and we'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews program on WYAB. Right here on the Chip Matthews program on
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get zero down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,000 off select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Divini Equipment, serving you in Madison and Jackson. Stop, call, or click at DiviniEquipment.com.
Hi, this is Rita Jensen with Remax Connection. I've been selling real estate now for well over 30 years, and I typically use Chadwick Home Inspectors. And Chad has done many, many home inspections for me.
They are pretty much from roof to foundation. Most people are surprised at just how thorough these home inspections can be. Been working with Rita almost a decade now. Very rarely does she let a deal fall apart. She can usually find a way to negotiate where both parties are satisfied.
RitaJensen.net.
Craving something extraordinary in Jackson? Manship Restaurant is where your taste buds hit the jackpot. Join us for happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. where your wallet will thank you and your stomach will sing. Indulge in half-price wood-fired pizzas, because why pay full price for half the fun? And for just $5, dive into our private barrel bourbon picks. That's right, luxury on a budget. Plus, beat the heat with our frozen drink special, a tropical escape without the travel expenses. Make your way to the Manship, where happy hour isn't just a time, it's an experience.
Would you like a free ice cream? Head on over to Bumpers Drive-In on Highway 49 in Flora. If you're craving a juicy made-to-order burger and crispy golden fries, if you want to taste the best hand-breaded chicken tenders you've ever had, if you want a hand-mixed milkshake or a whirl with Nutter Butters, Oreos, then bump on into Bumpers Drive-In in Flora. Exclusively at the Flora location. Mention you heard them on WYAB and you'll receive a free frosty ice cream with your order.
We all love the farm-to-table food concept, right? Well, at Burnt Corn Farm, they bring you locally grown flowers straight from the farm to the vase. With a wide selection of flowers and excellent service, Burnt Corn Farm will make your next party or shower a southern delight. Sign up for a monthly bouquet subscription, and their farm fresh flowers will brighten your days all season long. You can also book your next family photo session in their wildflower field. That's Burnt Corn Farm on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, this is Casey Ellis with Ellis Autoplex, located on Highway 471 in Brandon. Ellis Autoplex, known as Little Truck City, is your old school mom and pop style dealership that's family owned and operated. We specialize in 4-wheel drive trucks, but don't worry, we have cars and SUVs too. Looking to sell your vehicle? Bring it by Ellis Autoplex, where we pay fair market value and we cut you a check on the spot. Need your vehicle service or repair? We can handle that too. Shop us online or set your appointment at ellisautoplex.com. That's ellisautoplex.com.
For the first time ever, Carter Jewelers is allowing you to determine the price. In regard to the remaining jewelry purchased from the Fab Terror bankruptcy, we will be selling this jewelry to a New York liquidator very soon. Before we sell to the liquidators, I am inviting you to come to Carter Jewelers and make an offer on any piece of this jewelry for whatever price you are willing to pay. So if the price you've offered is more than what we expect to get from the liquidation company, and it makes sense, we'll sell it to you. There's almost 1,000 pieces of this Terra jewelry to choose from, and the sale prices we have on it is already a steal. Each piece of this jewelry is gorgeous and beautifully made. So you determine the price sale at Carter Jewelers is going to be on for just a little while. Interest-free and no credit check financing is available, and trade-ins are welcome. Established in 1849 downtown Jackson on High Street, 2 blocks from the Capitol and Pemberton Plaza in Vicksburg. Shop now while we still have this massive selection at Carter Jewelers.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
Yes, I am your host with the most right here. Early in the morning, waking you up on WYAB. I am Chip Matthews, candidate for Mayor of Canton. I'm going to remind everybody of that because when I talk about the Canton stuff, I just want you to understand why it's so near and dear to me. And also that full disclosure, I might be biased. I'm kind of for me, That's why I put my name on the ballot. And the people are sending me this text, and I can't wait to show this I'm going to show it to Otha and see what he says about it. But basically, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but they're saying that one of the people on the stand yesterday lied, and they're actually the cousin to one of the people that are named in the suit. And I'm not going to put out anything that's not fact that I can't find, but they got pictures and this, that, and the other. I mean, multiple people have sent me this now. And I'm just like, I'm not an attorney. I'm not ones you need to talk about. I'm not even the judge in this case. Oh, man, the judge would get mad if I was trying to run for judge, wouldn't he? Everybody'd hate me if I was a judge. Well, they hate me already, so it's not really a big deal. And they all think I'm crazy. But anyway, the trials in Canton began again at 8:30 this morning. Will we have a special session coming up soon? Will the judge, will Tate Reeves go ahead and just say, lawmakers, you've been getting too much graft from these lobbyists. We're just go ahead and do it Memorial Day weekend. They're going to go, hey, I got a condo already paid for by those guys. Whatever. And that's not to mention the drug lobbyists for the big stores, big box stores that are trying to make life impossible for the independent pharmacies. Y'all, there's so much going on in all of it. In all of these cases, the only thing that it's not really the issue of whether a person is being treated right or treated wrong. That's supposed to be the issue. But it's all about money. It's about money. It's like I said, time and opportunity. In Canton, the time and opportunity is now to take over because there's going to be billions of dollars spent. And I talked to some workers yesterday because I went by the Waffle House and ate in Canton who are saying, we don't have a place to shower. We have nothing to eat. And we're having to work 13, 14-hour days over here on the site. When it rains, we don't get to work. There's no place to stay in town. There's no place to stay out of town. Y'all, that's tough. That's some tough love going on there. There's some money. There's some money to be made right now while they're working. I probably could go out there and make $1 million just selling a hot dog. But anyway, the Clay Edwards Show is next. I will be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I will see you then. Goodbye.